when I'm beginning.
where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. This is another episode, another edition, another installment of the Shift Report where shift happens. I'm your host, the Hood Mystic. Today we're going to be talking about the other side of hustle culture. We're talking about this particular subject for a specific reason. And to explain this, let's bring up our astrological chart and really get into this because we're not here for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for a good time. So, the thing that I want to specifically point out is how Venus is going to be coming into conjunction on Saturday with Neptune. And this is specifically talking about Venus is a very female centered energy, right? If you are a divine feminine, one of the best things that you could deal with to assist you in navigating this matrix is Venus, right? In ancient Sumerian cultures, uh, they say that Ishtar, Anana, was actually Venus. And what this represents is a specific wisdom that's coming online. The interesting narrative or the interesting plot twist to having this female or feminine wisdom, one would say, is that are you using it or are you submitting to the dominant hustle culture? So you have to begin to assess and look at your energy, look at your decisions. Is this wise, divine, feminine wisdom, or have you just become an instrument of the patriarchy? And so, whether you're a man or a woman, you got to understand patriarchy in a sense of all zodiacal principles are inherently feminine. However, when we discuss Mars, when we discuss Saturn, when we discuss the sun, we are thinking that, well, this represents masculine and this represents feminine, right? And it's not ever the case. The whole paradigm of spiritual energy is a feminine paradigm because we cannot see these particular energies. We cannot conceive of these particular energies until we begin a process of intuition, observation, seeing the unseen. This is feminine in nature. Everything physical is masculine in nature. So there is no feminine spiritual course. I mean, no, excuse me. There is no masculine correspondence. So this is what's going to throw you all the way off in this particular development. However, because the entity such as Venus is so strong and palpable, you couldn't defeminize Venus even if you wanted to. When you go to a bathroom, Venus is the symbol that identifies women. So even when they tried to be as patriarchal as possible, they could never defeminize Venus. So working with Venus and understanding Venus is a certain level of wisdom associated with it. When you are moving and grooving within wisdom, you are in right alignment. Venus and Neptune is in the 12th house, along with the North Node, along with Chiron. The message is very simple. You cannot waste time with trivial matters on the short term and on the long term. But ultimately, are you in tune with what you love, who you love? Are you getting going in the direction of the places that you want to travel? Are you feeling your business grow? Are you making more friends? Or are you the type of person that's just like, in the matrix, going to work every day, paying your bills, and following the dominant patriarchy of what you should be doing, right? And that's very disadvantageous to the spiritual being, especially the melanated spiritual being, especially the melanated divine feminine being, because what's happening in the culture is that when divine feminine beings ascertain to reach patriarchal goals, they lose themselves entirely. Now you wearing hairstyles to fit in. Now you wearing clothes to fit in. Now you putting on makeup to fit in. Now you trying to form fit to fit in. And it's just like you wearing shapewear to fit in, and it's all a bunch of different things that is not uniquely tied into wisdom, which is more of the psychic variety, the unseen variety. So Venus is not always relegated to quote unquote beauty, although it could be very beautiful. When you talk about Venus, you're talking about a sublime wisdom, a sublime truth. And so, therefore, masculine and feminine can come under the spectrum of divine truth. And a lot of time, when you have men that are very psychically attuned, they get with women that are not very psychically attuned. And what tends to happen is that that woman gets all of the mojo jojo out of that particular relationship and is perceived as spiritual, but you'll usually see a guy in the background. It's actually a situation down in New Orleans I've been seeing on Instagram. And I'm not about to the Instagram. If you follow, if you know, right? But it's this husband where he's been like scam. Well, according to the wife, the husband have been scamming people in the name of spirit, but she wasn't even present in her business, and whatever the case may be. I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't actually patron with their services. But at the same point, a lot of people have been dealing with this particular couple, and one or the two, one got the juice and the other one don't got the juice. That's the basic premise of it. So when we are talking about divine feminine wisdom, it's not gender specific, and you gotta really deal with the individuals. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you dealing with somebody face to face, and this reminds me earlier what we was talking about in understanding Venusian magic and green magic, is that your magic is on a face to face level. So people might see you be fortunate, people might see you be successful, and they'll never reach the levels of success that you're going to reach because you heal face to face. Right? So me, I'm a Venusian resonant, I feel personally, right? and and I don't feel like I'm entirely Venusian, but I feel like I have some Plutonian energy and some Venusian energy. Like I'm a real lover. And so how do I really show my love a lot of times is through astrological and spiritual readings. I've done so many one-on-one readings. You could never necessarily tell me that that's not how I specifically heal and deal with people. But you wouldn't know on a live video, be like this nigga be cussing and doing all types of crazy shit. But the nature of Venus is very intimate. When we talk about intimate, is very one-on-one. So a lot of times you don't know your potential because you don't schedule consultations, you don't do massages, you don't do one-on-ones, right? And a lot of times we want to think about how the patriarchy and the culture got us. What is it? One's in the chat, if it's normal to have a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers, have a lot of people into your program, right? But if you ever imagine one doctor, right? You one doctor, but you got a million subscribers. You wouldn't be able to fulfill that schedule even if you try. You can't see a million patients. It's not even possible in the days that you have living. I'm not even sure I almost can guarantee that you don't even live a million days. How many days does the average person live? 28,854 days. It's not a lot of days in reference to having a million subscribers. So, say you're a spiritual practitioner, or you're a healer, or you're something to that effect. If you got 100 people that's riding your wave, it's a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, for real, that's a lot of people. So when you actually want to feel like, all right, I want to start to heal, I want to start to do my practice, or I want to start to do my consultation, you don't have to heal a million people. You can heal one business at a time, one person at a time. And in reference to this system, that's very Venusian. It's very one on one. If you think about sex, you can't, I mean, some of y'all, I ain't gonna say no names. I ain't gonna put no names on it. But most of us, we not having sex, but with nobody but our one intimate partner. So when you look at Venus, you're looking at love. So you get into the energy of love. What do I want to be intimate with? As far as your 12th house, your house of spiritual goals or spiritual gifts, this is very specific to melanated people. Because you have to then think about where we have been on a generational level. Have we been in corporate offices on a generational level? Have we been wanting to be boss bitches on a generational level? Have we wanting to be CEOs and record execs on a generational level? And the answer is no. For a generational level or a period, we have been savants and spiritualists and medicine makers and healers and things of that nature. That is what ultimately our 10th and 11th house is specifically dealing with, not anything mundane, right? And then understanding Venus in your 12th house, what do you love to do? If you watched the video that I did earlier in the week, I've said that a lot in that video, and I probably say it a lot in this video. Have you uncovered or discovered what you love to do? And do you do it incessantly? Do you do it without being paid? Do you do it without any transaction? Do you do it with just because you love to do it? And that is Venus. So when you talk about sex, when you talk about healing, imagine if you were dealing with a healer and he said, well, do you have $500? And you said no. And he said, all right, I can't heal you. That is not a real healer. That's not a real healer. Think about the people where you paying these absorbent amounts of money to for specific trainings and healings and certificates, and understand that is not the way of a healer. In reference to most hospitals, you get a hospital bill, right? But the overall gist of the nurse, so in hospitals they have administrative offices that are not deeply connected to the care team and the care staff, because the care staff cannot function as administrative agents. So ultimately, when we are spiritual practitioners and we also want to be administrators, we conflate an interest. So how I would bypass your 12th house is just to do it incessantly, do it with a purpose, do it with a passion, understand what's taking place, and then understand the one-on-one nature. So he's like, I want to be going viral as a massage therapist. Why? Because I can just heal so many people. Dog, do you know how burnt out you would be if that was the case? Why you want to be burnt out? So we're looking at being burnt out versus being in divine purpose, versus understanding your north node, where you are headed, understanding Neptune, your spiritual development, and also understanding what you absolutely love. And when we deal with any conjunction to any, and I hope y'all listen and understand what I'm saying, and I'm not too complicated in my explanation when I say this. Any conjunction to Pluto, Neptune, or Uranus is important and significant. When we have any smaller wandering planet, such as Sun, Moon, Saturn to a certain extent, Jupiter to a certain extent, but especially the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus, when they are conjunct or aspected to Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, it is a big deal. Why? Because Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus will be in close conversation in aspect over these next 9 years. What am I saying? The world that we live in today is going to be a completely different world, and you are the instrument of that change. And that change comes from spiritual transmission. So the information that spirit is trying to communicate with you, you don't know what it is. That's the nature of a communication. So why am I saying this? Because you will be inundated with the bullshit that you're dealing with today. And the bullshit that you're dealing with today is a false illusionary Maya patriarchy bullshit construct that doesn't even relate to who you are and what you should be doing. However, when you do the purification work, when you do the shadow work, when you do the chakra work, and you get grounded and you understand what your soul wants you to do, you can make these changes. My issue and my problem with the collective is don't be so fucking afraid to change. One's in the chat if that made sense. And once again, I understand if what I'm saying is not being complicated, if what I'm saying is too complicated or you don't understand, because most people talk to you on a level to confuse you and lie to you. You know what the level that most people talk to you on is called rhetoric. They're not educational, they're not informal, they're not inclusive, they're very exclusive, meaning they don't want you to be a part of their club. And two, they just want to make you feel good and say things that sound good. And I want to be clear and I want to be understandable, but I also want you to do your own research. So I'm not going to baby you, right? So I just wanted to outline and lay out the chart from my perspective, but I also have a reaction video that I want to talk about. It's not going to be a long video. This is really just a 2 minute video, but I want to outline if you are going through this and you're not able to really, because what you're about to witness is a wife call her husband and explain to her how we need to change. And what the husband does is say, no, you're okay. You're all right. We're doing a good job. And that's that bullshit. And I don't want to be the person in your life to say, you're crashing out. Keep putting your foot on the gas. Keep going, sister. You're making the right decision by being a working mom. Work harder than you ever worked before, girlfriend. Get those checks. Get those dollars. I'm a boss ass bitch. Bitch, 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 bitch. Remember that was an actual era of time where people listened to that song and jammed to it and never thought, like, why do I want to be a boss ass bitch? Do my soul want me to be a boss ass bitch? Or do the patriarchy want me to be a boss ass bitch because they want to put me in survival mode? Because the most money you make is all going to be fiat currency. And if you ever did math before, anything times zero equals zero. Okay. So if the dollar is worth zero and they give you $1 million, guess how much money you have? You have $0, especially if you don't take that fake currency and buy real assets, which most of us are not educated in these particular subjects. So when we talk about Pluto, when we talk about Neptune, and we talk about Uranus, and you tune into this channel, you will get information that comes from those spheres. So because you get information that comes from those spheres, I do not expect you to agree with me, understand me. I expect to be sounding like a nigga with 10 heads to the average person. But at the end of the day, those who have ears should be able to hear. Those who have eyes should be able to see. And this is not called know Kyrie, it's called know thyself. And at the end of the day, we have all of these systems in place for you to begin to spread your message that comes from your Pluto, that comes from your Neptune, that comes from your Uranus. What is your spiritual expression versus how much fake money you have in your account? If the dollar, you look at your dollar and say, in God we trust, and you don't even trust God, Houston, we have a problem because that's all the dollar is. And I swear to God, we don't want 250 Americans to realize that everything that this government have been giving us is nothing, and we've been working our fucking feet to the motherfucking bone for nothing. And then we said slavery was over in 1863, just to find out that the dollar have been taken off the gold standard since 1971. Richard Nixon looked us dead in our face and said that the same amount of money that it takes to buy a Corvette in 1971 would be the same amount in 2025. That was a lie, ladies and gentlemen. That was a bold faced lie. That was probably one of the biggest lies ever told to the American public, and none of these people have been called to the stand. Because Richard Nixon is dead and gone, but his politics live on to this day. We don't have nothing backing this money, and we, without no consciousness, try to get a job and say, "How much dollars are you giving me?" Oh, my paycheck is $2,000. Times it by zero. How much is that fucking paycheck worth? You done paid rent. How much security and backing do you get from paying your rent? Nothing. You paid your electricity. How much of a security is your electricity bill? Nothing. You done bought some clothes. You done bought some food. At what point do you feel like your dollar is worth anything? If you got it, and you got to get that job, not because you can invest and grow your income. You got to get in that job because you need to survive. Ladies and gentlemen, that is slavery. When we look at our government politicians, we got to understand the Anunnaki mythology, and it haven't changed. It's the same thing that they talked about in Samaria, and it's the same thing now. And the entities and energies that ever tried to tell you the truth, they've been silenced, they've been killed, and they've been told, shut the fuck up. They've been told that's a crazy person. So if you can't then begin to understand that there's more to this world than you actually know, and you have to dig deeper, you have to dig deeper. And then once you dig deeper, you then have to say, okay, how am I going to channel what you gotta dig deeper. And I don't mean go into a fucking hole and crawl under it and wait for the world to end. I'm saying you gotta motherfucking drag your nuts. This is not gender specific. You gotta drag your nuts, put them on the table, and say, "Yeah, what's up? Big dog back in town now." Well, where'd you get your authority from, God? On your dollar bill saying, "God, we trust." At a certain point, we have to be so meticulous and so mindful that if the truth gets out, this reality shuts down. Because the people that's protecting you now, they're gonna be protecting their own family. Because what are you paying the cops? Dollars. What are you paying the army? Dollars. When the army and the cops realize, and the eggs is already $5. Soon as you figure out that the eggs cost $100 and you ain't got a pay raise, and when you start to talk to the CEOs, you get in an AI bot. Hey, what's up with my check? The eggs is $100 and my check is $500. Is this really serious? The cereal is $200. Look, I got $500 to my name, and my groceries cost $7,000. My groceries cost $7,000. I got $500. I tried to call Mark Zuckerberg or the one dude who owned Amazon. They gave me an AI bot to talk to, and they building bunkers. Why is Mark Zuckerberg, why is the Amazon dude, why is all these billionaires building bunkers? Because the truth is going to come out. And then you say, well, cryptocurrency will save us. We using fake dollars to fund cryptocurrency, guys. Use your heads. Use your brains. If the dollars ain't worth nothing, then the crypto ain't worth nothing. The only thing that's worth something is what people need. So if you are a smart human being and you want to envision your life for the next 9 years, you are going to develop a business based upon human need, and you are going to protect yourself and your assets and your family, because everything that I'm saying is real. You can Google it. If the dollar is worth anything, please correct me. If your dollar is worth more than points, if your dollar ain't worth shit but the paper that the ink in the paper, that's how much that shit is worth. So add all of that shit up. Maybe 0.0004 cents, but you working hard for it. And there's a problem. There's nothing wrong with dollars in a sense as a medium of exchange, but when we use it as a store of value, then we have a problem. Then we have an issue. The real store of value is how you help humanity. That is your 12th house. So if you're doing something that is fulfilling humanity, you won't be stressed out. But if you fucking putting paper into a pen and folding boxes, but you doing it because they paying you 100K, you are a folding box slave. You sitting in the office and it's okay because they giving you 250K to answer a phone and send emails, and you feel like I got a good job. You insane. Because once that good job is over, or once AI can do everything that you can do, your ass up out of there. Yeah, I work HR. Yeah, AI going to be able to do HR in a second, in a millisecond. You don't even know your job looking for AI. They doing AI HR testing right now. Well, I don't care what job you work in. I work at Chick. Ain't no job safe. You better start you a business, a real business, in reference to human needs. So therefore, you got to study what humans need. Because in reference to economies collapsing, America will not be the first economy to collapse. A fiat currency is going to collapse. It's going to collapse because the billionaires don't. If $1 billion times zero equals zero, these motherfuckers is be up in mansions that people gonna be raiding and looting for valuables and shit, and they ain't gonna have no protection because all of the cops is protecting their own shit. This is real life. This is something that we absolutely have to prepare for in these next 9 years. We absolutely have to prepare for it because you absolutely know that the dollar ain't worth shit. The dollar is based upon the military power of the United States, and the United States is not the toughest, roughest military power in the country. And even if we were the toughest military power in the country, that's not stopping a bunch of other countries to coalesce and combine, aka BRICS, which is a conglomerate of countries. And the root of BRICS is a financial emphasis on the oil to be able to purchase oil because that's where the dollar is connected to oil. So if people, you have to purchase oil with the US dollar. If you can set up a system where you don't need a US dollar to purchase oil, then this dollar becomes worthless overnight. And everybody knows this except Americans that are fucking sleep. Americans going to work for money right now, and there's a whole bunch of financial systems that they refuse to listen to. That's sleep. If the world is going to change and you just hoping that it don't change, that's sleep. You're defenseless. And all of this shit is happening in different countries and at different times, all of these different revolts. And this is something that you should know and prepare for and understand. When can it happen? At any moment. As soon as inflation reaches point, inflation is inevitable because that's the only thing that is separating us from going all the way crazy. So once again, we're going to react to a video. We're going to talk about it, but I want us to be aware that, especially men, and your wife or your girlfriend or whatever you want to call her, she's stressed out. The worst thing you could do is, patronize her and tell her that everything is okay when everything is not okay. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean, listen, Diana, Venus, and Nana Ishtar are actually goddesses of war. In reference to war, you need wisdom. You don't need to be strong as you think. You need to be wise as possible. This is how your ancestors and your descendants are able to manipulate and manage through the up and down times because they are very wise. So actually tune in and tap into your wisdom, which we all have access to, right? And it all comes from within you. And this is what chakras teach you that the regular stuff, it just doesn't teach you or talk about. So let's deal with this video.
Frustrated. I'm just so frustrated. Okay, well, let me go because you're just being you're being logical, and I don't want to be logical.
What's up, there?
Just not having a good day.
I'm sorry, man. Did anything happen?
Just the same stuff.
I get it, babe. Life's hard.
I know that I've actively worked towards the life that I have now. This isn't the life that I want, and it's just so frustrating to me. I've sacrificed my 20s. I've sacrificed all.
So I'm gonna just let it play out, and then I'm gonna play it again and react to it because it's not that long of a video. So I'm gonna let it play all the way out, and then I'm gonna react to it, and I'm gonna start it over again for those that's just joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you like the video too if you like it. Subscribe if you're new here, and share this video to somebody who is hustling all day, all night, acting like they got it all together because they working all the time.
What's up, there?
Just not having a good day.
I'm sorry, man. Did anything happen?
Just the same stuff.
I get it, babe. Life's hard.
I know that I've actively worked towards the life that I have now. This isn't the life that I want, and it's just so frustrating to me. I've sacrificed my 20s. I've sacrificed all of the years with the kids being young, and I just don't think it was worth it. It's not even about the money, though. That's the thing.
What I was gonna say is, we're doing good for our age.
I'm just frustrated. The chaos and the hustle, and I'm just so tired of it. Always being pulled in a million directions. For the last 6 years, I've just not been the mom, the wife, the friend, the business owner that I've wanted to be.
I don't think I give myself enough credit, though.
Because I've been spread so thin, it's just to not even execute best of my abilities just pisses me the fuck off. It makes me so mad. But then it's I realistically understand that that with everything that was going on, I did the best of a shitty situation. I get that. I'm just surviving, and I'm not thriving in anything. I am. I am a shitty CEO. It's not, yes, because I'm never executing. I'm never executing to the best of my abilities because I can't. If I pour everything into this business I'm supposed to in this role, then I'm a horrible person to my children. I cannot continue this conversation because I'm losing my mind, but I'm just not having.
I just want you to know you're doing good. I understand that there's ups and downs, and I do get that it's hard. I fully agree.
I don't want to keep trying to keep up. I do not want to. I want to.
You that you're gonna slow down.
I'm just so frustrated. I'm just so frustrated. Okay, well, let me go because you're just being you're being logical, and I don't want to be logical.
I'm with you that things are hard.
I'm just overwhelmed and I'm frustrated. Well, since I just cried my eyes out, I think I'm just going to end the vlog here today. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, first things first. When we talking about metaphysics and we talking about spirituality, I'm not talking about humanity. When we are trying to understand life, we must not understand life from an emotional perspective because we're hoping that things change. We're hoping that things shift, and the reality is that's not the act. Even if it is necessary for the things to change, crying is not going to change these things. So it is something that happens when you educate students or educate children. When you put something in front of them that they don't want to do, if they're not emotionally regulated, they use this moment to shut down and project, because shutting down and projecting to them, it have worked previously, and you know where it works the most. When you are a baby, when you cry as a baby, it's almost like a magic trick. You know what I'm saying? You could be lonely, you start crying, somebody pick you up. You be hungry, somebody feed you. You start crying, somebody change you. So therefore, when we are in real life situations and we start crying, this is a result of growing up in the modern world and dealing with a patriarchal system. Because the patriarchal system is saying all you have to do is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and you good. But if you so happen to mess up on S, then that's probably your problem. However, we don't live in a specific patriarchy in a sense that we live in a divine feminine universe. In reference to Sumerian mythology, this whole world is Tiamat. This whole world is Sophia. This whole world reference a goddess that have been killed by a false god, Yaldabaoth. And Yaldabaoth has these archons, and these archons they institute all of these systems and institutions that human beings live and die for, i.e., United States, military, church, business, whatever it is, these institutions you imagine are greater than God Himself. So when we talk about Venusian wisdom, we're not talking about a space for you to be crying. Once again, Inanna, Ishtar, Venus, Artemis, Aphrodite, these are goddesses of war. They did not go to the battlefield and start crying. They had wisdom and seductive. So once again, let's look this up while we're here. Because seduction is a mode of war. It's a military tactic. So seduction, you get the word seduce. And seduce means to persuade a vassal to desert his allegiance or service. Okay? So a lot of war tactics and a lot of war strategy is to switch. And so the best way, and a lot of times we are loyal to America because of our families, but the foundation of a family for a lot of men is a woman, a mother, a wife, right? But a lot of men are loyal to America, but they are Moorish national. But their values are American values. Their customs are American customs because they love their wife and they love their family. So they not going to stand in their actual truth because a lot of that truth, especially in ancient times, that truth led to death. So it's either live with your family or die. Live a lie, Christianity, or and that's why the secret societies they operate as a suppression. The Shriners they operate as a suppression to Islamic forces. But when we look at Islam, we think they're talking about Arabic. See how we it's easy to conflate Islam and Arab almost as like the same thing. But when we understand Islam, that's I, third eye, self, soul, law, the universal law, am master, a master of universal law through the seat of my soul, my pineal gland, which connects me to my ancestors. When we are seduced as being black, Africans, Americans, any all of these particular institutions, pledge in Greek, black people love pledging Greek, don't they? That's seduction. That's to persuade a vassal or a soldier to desert his allegiance or service. Okay? Just wanted to elucidate that point and get back to this video.
What's up, man?
Just not having a good day.
I'm sorry, man. Did anything happen?
Just the same stuff.
I get it, babe. Life's hard.
I know that like I've actively like worked towards the life that I have now.
And this is the key point, and I'm gonna just stop it at key points. When you work actively to the life that you are dealing with, this is the difference between having a foundation. This is the difference between having an active root chakra. When you have an active root chakra, you know, and you know through your results. When you don't have an active root chakra, you can fool yourself a lot of times. You can deal with so much, and understand that you're going to deal with adversity either way. But a balanced root chakra is dealing with your source, dealing with your soul, and your soul is telling you that this is what you should do. You are secure in what you are doing. So the average person wouldn't be secure in being a psychic. There's no money in being a psychic, right? The average person wouldn't be able to pay their bills if they said, I'm a full time psychic and an astrologer. I understand that. But when my soul told me that this is what I should do, I committed to it. And I ain't never just fell off. In the space of me saying that I want to be a full time astrologer and whatever the case may be, like it's been ups and downs, no doubt. I've expected that because, like I said, I didn't expect to be a rich man being an astrologer because the numbers I didn't want to do, and it was times where I was reading every day, multiple times a day. That's not my calling any longer. What I'm saying is, there's been other things that came to light just because I decided to be an astrologer. I have more time to study, more time to develop different crafts, different pursuits, different hobbies. But ultimately, I had to step away from the matrix and deal with my 12th house. My 12th house is me being an astrologer as not a profession, but my life work. What people would know me as, what I'm actually going to contribute to humanity. So, in that is really no stress. It's really no worry or doing a whole bunch of shit that the patriarchy or society say, well, you need to do this or you need to do that. So, are you actively following your soul or are you just actively doing what your mom and dad or what you just personally think? Because a lot of time that gets us in trouble because we actually doing it and we see other people doing it and we took that person's course or we even went to college and we actively progressing in a particular life, but we ignoring one key fact. I am unhappy. I am unable to do the things that I want to do. Me personally, it's days where I wake up and I want to go to the river. It's days I wake up, I want to go to the library. It's days I want to wake up and I want to be completely free to decide how I want to actually live. I'm able to do that. I'm able to base in everything in moderation, but I don't want to be in a situation where it's like you can't go to the river. You can't go into nature because I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got to go to work. So I can't enjoy this life that I'm given. I got to work in this life that God has given me. My supervisor did not give me this life. That owner of that corporate office did not give me this life, but I had to give them my life so they can give me fake money. Now, when you have and it's not even about a business either, because a lot of times we get caught up in starting a business. It's not even about a business, because when you are in alignment, I know this to be a fact. God give you everything you need when you need it. Every step of the way. It's a lot of things that I know because I follow God. So in reference, I know about email marketing, promotion, sales, all types of shit that I'll be like, damn, I'm lucky as fuck to even know this. I know how to build a website. I know how to work through WordPress. Valuable, valuable skills that I've gained over time because I'm just a good listener. And this is Venus and this is wisdom. When you're not a good listener, you're going to do a whole bunch of shit that, so if Venus is not conscious or unconscious, it is perfect wisdom. So perfect wisdom do not have you sitting in the car crying to your husband. Okay, perfect wisdom, and it's gonna be points that I'm just gonna point out to you that's very key when we are living and we're not being as cognizant as we absolutely can be. And I'm gonna just say it because I might forget it when it happened. It's a point where he say, if I'm the CEO that I'm supposed to be, then I'm a shitty mother, which is real. And like I said, this Venus energy conjunct Neptune. Yes, you make a lot of money, but your parents, your kids don't need you to make a lot of money. Your kids need love, nurturing, and education. Your kids need a good quality meal that is nutrient rich, that's not full of processed foods and high fructose corn syrup, right? They don't need to be pushed off to a babysitter that don't give a shit about them, not the way that they came from you, right? So these are very strong Venusian wisdoms and Neptunian wisdoms that the collective can begin to understand and how they operate in their own life.
Now, this isn't the life that I want, and it's just like so frustrating to me. I've sacrificed my 20s, I've sacrificed all of the years with the kids being young, and I just don't think it was worth it. It's not even about the money.
So sacrificing your 20s is a big, so I feel like you what's that saying go? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? Because you can be the type of person that's like, having fun in your 20s and you're like, damn, I wasted my 20s. And then you could be the person that's like working, going to college, get out of college, go straight into the workforce, start your business, like develop your skill. And you missing one crucial point. What did your soul want you to do in your 20s? Maybe your soul just wanted you to sit on a river, just sit at the beach, just meditate, just reflect. Understand that there is no rush. Understand that there is nobody moving you or grooving you to do anything. You are a divine child. And a lot of times we have to understand that before the channels come. A lot of times we got to understand that we are more than what people tell us. And if we don't fully know this, if we fully don't understand it, we may be victims to what other people think and what other people say. So wasting your 20s could be having fun, having sex, or it could be working your fingers to the bone.
Money though, like
But
that's
no,
the thing.
what I was gonna say is like,
The,
we're doing good for like our age.
I'm
I
just
want you to also
frustrated.
realize
The chaos and the hustle, and I'm just so tired of it. Always being.
And what it seems like to me is that when you are in a relationship with a man and that man cannot lead you and guide you, you setting yourself up for failure. So if you a very headstrong type of woman, I feel like it's better just to be single because the things that you need from your man, that advice to say, no, I don't do this, he's not going to provide. So a beta simp type of dude, and I don't mean these derogatory, I mean these as factual statements. When you with a guy and all he says is yes, or try to support and try to like coddle and enable everything that's going on, when you are very headstrong, you need somebody to say, listen, that's a bad idea. And you got to be headstrong enough to then submit to the fact that he's taking a lead role in the relationship. Because right now she's looking for that and he's being like, yeah, baby, it's okay. We're doing good for our age. And she's not doing good at an emotional level. When your emotions kick in like this, This is what's called a trigger. This is when you need to do shadow work. Shadow work is saying, "Hey, we're doing the wrong thing, girlfriend." Because if you're doing the right thing, you just don't abruptly start crying in the car and doing a live stream. At a certain point, you emotionally regulate and you make the decision that brings you to a state of homeostasis. And homeostasis is not something that is conditional; it is internal. It's people that is in arctic temperatures in homeostasis. And it's people in hot temperatures that's homeostasis. So it's nothing in relation to your external, it's everything related to your internal. But many people do not do inner work, such as shadow work, to see what should I be doing? Where should I be going? Versus I'm just gonna sit here and cry and hope things change.
Being pulled in a million directions. For the last 6 years, I've just not been the mom, the wife, the friend, the business owner that I've wanted to be.
I don't think I give myself enough credit, though.
Because I've been spread so thin, it's just like to not even like execute best of my abilities just like pisses me the fuck off. Like it makes me so mad. But then it's like I realistically understand that like
So so you cannot do all things. So in your mind, and this is the ego, right? This is the ego. I'm going to do all of this. And the reality is that you can only do some of this, if any of this, if your soul don't go along with it. So where do I get my perspective from? I've seen people get taken out the body for not following their soul. I'm sure you've seen it too. Maybe you didn't perceive it like that, but when you don't do the things that you're supposed to do in reference to your internal guidance system, you crash the fuck out. And life is real. So when you are headstrong and ego centered and know everything that's best for you without doing the specific inner work, clearing your mind, doing the banishing work, doing the ritual work to clear your mind, to start over, get centered, then 10 times out of 10, it could be the wrong direction. And the more successful you are, the more trouble you get into because you start believing that your shit don't stink. Roses really smell like boo boo ooh, looking ass boy.
that with everything that was going on, like I did the best of a shitty situation. Like I get that. I'm just surviving and I'm not thriving in anything. I am. Like I am a shitty CEO. Like it's not, yes, because I'm never executing. I'm never executing to the best of my abilities because I can't. Like I can't.
If like you really get to the nitty gritty and when you stop being delusional about shit, shit don't be what it's supposed to be. People don't be reaching a point where they're able to like top off because it's not specific. It's not in relation to what they actually be really wanting to do, and they not even clear. And maybe you get some semblance, you get some guidance here and there. But I'm the type of person, and I'm just the type of person. If you don't unequivocally know for a fact that this shit is real, you'll just be skimming the surface. You'll be doing things secretly because you don't even believe that your ancestors is watching you. You'll be watching porn every now and again. You'll be just making decisions based upon your ego and not doing the right thing. You would cheat on your diet. You would not be working out. And you would say, damn, I'm trying to lose weight, or damn, I'm trying to get money. But okay, but when you get to a certain point, you realize that damn, the biggest block is me. So let me get up out of my own way. Then you start. That's your work. But if you don't realize that, you'll be sitting there trying to figure it out, trying to talk to your husband, trying to talk to your family, trying to post it online, and the whole time you haven't never sat with yourself. You have never. And when I say sit with yourself, I want to be so specific on how this shit works. When you go deep within yourself, when you do animal work, when you do real shadow work, you have a visceral experience of who you truly are on an inner level. You start talking to yourself and yourself start talking back and you listening to yourself speak to yourself, and it ain't on no crazy shit like maybe I should bust out his tires. Maybe I should go slash his windows. And I know y'all said that's backwards, Hood. I did that on purpose to see if you was listening or not.
I pour everything into this business like I'm supposed to in this role, then I'm a horrible person to my children. I cannot.
And these is facts. Part of my 2024 going into 2025, I have to balance my work life balance. I have to for the sake of my children. I have to not be so focused on the work that I'm doing that I negate my children. Because your children need you. They don't need their teachers. They don't need their listen, they don't need their friends. They need you. They need you to show them attention, to show them love, to look them at the eyes. They don't need you to throw fucking money at them. They are not strippers. One's in the chat if your kids are not strippers. Some of y'all kids are strippers. Put a 2 in the chat if your kid is a stripper. We want to know. We gonna subscribe to their OF page. Just kidding. Just jokes. One's in the chat if your kid is not a stripper.
Continue this conversation because I'm losing my mind, but I am just not having.
I just want you to know you're doing good. I understand that there's ups and downs, and
I just want you to know that you're doing good. She's breaking down crying. At that point, she's not doing good. At that point, you would need to know what it is that she needs to do so she could get some sort of balance as a leader, as a masculine point in her life. You need to be a director of her to go within herself to calm down and not make any decisions, whether good nor bad. Because if somebody is breaking down, the last thing they want to hear is, "Oh, you're doing good though. You're making all of this fake fiat currency, so Spirit is trying to tell you this ain't right." That's why you crying. Oh man. But like I said, man, I just wanted to do a quick little video. When I do a quick video, we talking about an hour. But yeah, man, make sure. And a lot of times I'll just do impromptu lives when I find content and pertaining to the subject matter that I want to talk about. In reference to these next 2 weeks, I'm going to be talking about people figuring and solidifying a foundation for themselves. And where do they find a foundation from? Do they find it from pamphlets on the side of the road? Do they find a foundation from church? Or do they find the foundation from within themselves? What we do at Chakra Nova is provide meditations, guides, and conversation in reference to your root chakras so you can find this foundation within yourself. This is something that I've been doing for 3 to 4 years now, walking people through their chakras and telling them about their chakras, which are connected to your nervous system, bypassing all of the noise, bypassing all of the programming, bypassing all of the conditioning, getting directly to your soul is essential in these days and times. Like I said earlier, in reference to Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus, these are the Ein Sof Or. These are the primal roots to all knowledge and all civilization. And all of these concepts exist within ourselves. I believe in you. I believe in your abilities. But ultimately, you got to believe in yourself more than I believe in you. So I'm not going to bullshit you. If you don't give a fuck about your chakras, is nothing that Chakra Nova will do for you. If you'll understand that your chakras are real and connected to your ability to navigate throughout this matrix, then this will be a perfect course for you. Of course, we do have installments, discount codes, which you'll be updated for. So make sure you visit columbianexchange.com, join the email list, be on the download on what this promo code is going to be. It'll be emailed to y'all tomorrow morning, rather. What we do every weekend: White Rabbit, Colombian Exchange, weekend sales, weekend deals. And with all that being said, I just want to take some time out to appreciate those who supported me in this endeavor. Like I said, I've been a full time astrologer, YouTuber since 2016 because my soul told me to. Not because I wanted to be rich and famous, but when you follow your soul, you you know, you know what I'm saying? And it's bold and it's different and it might not be something that everybody is willing to do, but at the same time, I went deep within myself. I did the chakra work. I did the root chakra work to get grounded to the universal consciousness to say this is what you should be doing. And a lot of times I'm like, damn, is this what I should be doing? And then that's when somebody will book a reading and I'll have an experience or I'll have an exchange and it just recenters me. It's back to this Venusian principle with face to face one-on-one healings. And if you are a true healer, you do heal on a one-to-one basis. You don't heal by having a million subscribers, having $1 million, having a million followers. That's not real. What's real is a patient to practitioner relationship. And I view you all as practitioners, as divine mediators, and this is the work that we've been called to do. So if you feel called to do this work, start with the Chakra Nova 777 intensive as we get deeper and deeper into ourselves. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out these links in my description for my latest Substack article, the foundation worksheet, which is free of charge, and stay tuned for more articles, more content, more videos, and pertaining to the subject matter of finding and securing your foundation so you know what you should be doing instead of crying in the car for views and for clout. This have been the Shift Report, where shift happens. I'm your host, the Hood Mystic. Thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate the time that you spent. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you spent it here with me. For that, salute. See y'all all on the flip side. Peace.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.